Okay, so with this particular reading, this one is definitely focused on the karmic, energies as a whole. There's not a great deal in here, unfortunately, about you specifically, but it gives you a lot of information in terms of what they themselves, what state of mind and heart and spirit they're actually in before it could be they actually do come in this week. And we'll get to that in a second, okay? So I've marked on this table so you can see, basically we start from Sunday and we go all the way around. But before that, let's look at the overall energy for the week. Now, the overall energy for the week is Wunyo, just like it was last week, only this time it's in reverse. And that's not particularly good. So what we're talking about is dissatisfaction, a sense of misery, and impatience, being headstrong, filled with sorrow and strife and alienation, delirium even. It even talks about being possessed by the higher forces. Okay, so take that with, whatever particular faith that you believe in, whether it's, demons, whether it's archons, whether it's jinn, or any host of other negative connotations in terms of negative spirituals or spiritual deities, entities, what have you. But it talks about somebody that's also in a raging fury and certainly impatient. Okay? So this is their energy. Okay? So no matter what they come to you looking like, this is what they're actually harboring inside of them. Now, as far as Sunday is concerned, what we have here is both the supreme god and goddess of the Norse pantheon. We have the goddess Freya here, wife of the premier god of Asgard, which is Odin. And they're both in the reverse position, which gives you an idea of both the negative energies that these karmics are in, but also in some cases what they themselves have coming to them. Okay, so with Sunday being Fehu in the reverse, it talks about disappointments, greed and loss, money problems and arguments, loss of property, self-esteem, or something you put a great deal of effort to keep. It talks about bitterness, failure, a sense of atrophy, discord and cowardice, stupidity, dullness, poverty, slavery and bondage. Slavery and bondage to all of, the things that they are more or less addicted to for the most part, or just wallow in. They like to wallow in the mud. They feel comfortable there, okay? So that's the energy overall, with Wunyo in the reverse. It's not looking good, all right? And further, for Monday, we have Iwas in the reverse. And that speaks of stagnation, an undoing, inactivity, tension and confusion. It talks about destruction and weakness. It talks about fear, and fear is the opposite of love, not hate. So if you wish to generate a higher vibration and, potentially get yourself out of all of this, you're going to have to learn how to overcome fear. And that's not an easy thing to do, especially if you're worshiping, deities and entities and so on that, they feed on fear as well as other negative energies. All right. Now for Tuesday, we have Gibo, and Gibo 2 is in the reverse. So we have a lot of reversed energy this week. So Gibo talks about problems of an emotional nature, greed and laziness, dependency, toil, obligation, privation, and bribery. Now, some of us may be going through some of these things, and that's perfectly okay. It's part of our journey, and it's actually meant to happen for us to help it strengthen us. If you are vibrating higher, then don't assume that because I'm talking, in a one-size-fits-all type of approach, calling this the karmic read, that just because you fit into some of these energies, this is their overall energy. This is how they are feeling. This is how they are responding. This is the things that are happening to them, okay? As a whole, some of these things can happen to you without you being low vibration, okay? This is, in other words, their karma that is starting to unfold for them. So that's Gibo in the reverse. Now, we also got Gibo again for Wednesday's read, but this time it's in the upright. And of course, this is the reciprocity rune. This is about giving and receiving gifts. It's about balance in all things, including partnerships and marriage, divine unions. It talks about fortune, generosity. It talks about, it talks about balance even in contracts, relationships of any kind, partnerships of any kind, okay? So that's a particularly good one. And this may be, in some ways, because what came to my mind is this karmic person coming in and expressing an olive branch to us. And being empathic, we want to assume the best. But even though we've been hearing for months straight now about the worst, which is getting more and more intense every day, to the point where even the readings themselves are almost exclusively karmic now, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? Because on Thursday, we get Odin's mighty rune in the reverse. Now, Fehu in reverse means trickery, interference, deception, misunderstandings and delusions, boredom, manipulation, and vanity. And again, although one or two of these negative and low vibrational attributes, traits, or characteristics can actually be manifested into the collective's reality as well. What we're talking about as an overall arching energy, this is the karmic as a whole, what they're feeling, going through, and so on. So just keep that in mind, just in case you do embody one or two of these negative attributes at this time. You have the tools to get out of that. They have no desire. They like to wallow in the mud. All right? Now, finally, we get over to Friday, and we get a positive or a rest period with Wunyo in the upright. So remember, Wunyo in the reverse is the overall, but Friday, it's in the upright, and it talks about harmony, joy, and blessings, I should say, affection and desire. It talks about pleasure and fellowship. It talks about prosperity, ecstasy. It talks about glory and spiritual rewards. It talks about success and the recognition of your own self-worth. So perhaps with all the trickery that's coming our way, being given to us, maybe we are given an option, and we finally come to the conclusion that our self-worth dictates that we are not about to be lulled into a repeat of another cycle that is karmic in nature, because we feel sorry for somebody, or we want to believe what we already have been taught not to see or not to believe in this person, okay? Now, that doesn't mean they cannot get, the type of help, or I should say they find a way of helping themselves and actually healing, but they are not in that energy at all, collective. And Saturday, the last day of this week, in my book, is Perthrow, but it too is in the reverse. And it talks about secrets being revealed, collective. You're going to see basically how wise a decision you've made. It talks about unexpected results as a result of that decision. Somebody who has been disloyal, suffering from addictions and stagnation. Somebody who is overwhelmed with loneliness. Yes, it's